Good morning, students. Welcome to another class on 20th century Malayalam literature in translation. And today morning, we are reporting from Kulatur, where it is raining heavily. So, if there is any problem with the audio, I request all of you to use your headphones to listen to this video. And as you can see, we have a guest today in this class. Say hi.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Okay, so we are going to deal with a new story today. This is Gracie's story, Oroda and the Spirits. So this is one magical story with the ghosts and all, and there is a very strong central character, very brave and efficient woman. And we are going to meet Gracie's female character in this particular story, and I'm sure that you will enjoy it. It's very short and sweet story. Even though there are ghosts, they are like friendly ghosts, right?
Nice.
Okay. So about Gracie, she was a very important. She is still a very important Malayalam short story writer. Although she says that she doesn't have any affiliation for feminism and any other philosophy, we can certainly see that there is a streak of feminism in her works. In her works, we see strong female characters. The other characters in the story are dependent on her. So we can see such a character. Moreover, her language and her style is also particularly nice and easy to follow. It's like everyday conversational style. Um, for example, even in this particular story, even though it is translated to English, we can see the rhythms of speech of Central Kerala. ഒരു റാന്നി കോട്ടയം ആ ഒരു ഭാഗത്തെ ഒരു സ്പീച്ചിന്റെ പാറ്റേൺസ് വരുന്നുണ്ട്. വളരെ സ്ട്രോങ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സെൻട്രൽ ക്യാരക്ടർ. വി ഹാവ് ഒറോദ, ഷീ ഈസ് ആർ പ്രൊട്ടാഗണിസ്റ്റ്, ആൻഡ് ദെൻ she brings up a magical landscape with the use of language. That is the kind of style she writes in. So let's go straight to Orodha and the Spirits. So he's here to play a little background music for us. I hope you can hear it. And on top of it, we can ask him what he felt about the story and all. Are you ready?
That sounds good.
Okay, that's good. So, Oroda and the Spirits. I'm going to read it to you. And I can send you a PDF with the story if you don't have the textbook. All right. As Oroda lit the coconut front torch and stepped out into the yard, Pendamachedati asked once again, "Do you have to go tonight, Oroda? You don't have little ones to burden you at home, do you? Can't you just lie down somewhere here?" Moonlight dawned silver on Oroda's lips as she stepped into the darkness. "My man is afraid to sleep alone. And then I am soaked in sweat. Can't sleep if I don't wash and change this chatta and munda. Usually finishing my work, I am off home before dusk. But today, as I was about to leave, her daughter and son-in-law from Kochi came in. They had to catch a chicken that had got into the coop and make curry out of it. I still have two of those pieces that which Penamachedati gave me. Oh, my man's craving for meat. I cannot help it, exclaiming, "At this rate, you'll gobble me up too." And it's nice to hear him say with a smile, like a flash of torchlight, "Wasn't it for your flesh that I married you?" And then with a sly look at my breasts. Not sagging even now, he adds with a wink. It is then that this Oroda's heart turns heavy. It's because I am not fated to give birth and raise children. And a sigh would escape her. That's the moment when my man starts spouting his philosophy. What is the point of having children, O Oroda? The only benefit is that you will win the right to slave away for them all your life. When they are ready to fly, they will leave. That's all. Right now, what do we lack? We work hard, we live well. When this becomes utterly impossible, we can even leave together. Oh, that sounds as if all that is in our hands. Oroda will pout. "I have found a way for all that, woman. I'm scared of lying alone under the soil without you." Recollecting this, Oroda giggled. So, at the outset itself, okay, can I talk to them?
Yes.
Okay. So at the outset itself, the beginning itself, Gracie takes us to the center of the action. We see the protagonist at the start, at the first sentence itself. So a protagonist is named Oroda. Oroda എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു വീട്ടു ജോലിക്കാരിയാണ്. She's a maid servant in a house. Okay. And at the start, we can see that she has a coconut front torch. You know what coconut front torch is?
No.
You know coconut leaves, the long leaves, coconut tree leaves. So in olden days, people used to gather coconut tree leaves and tie it together and use it as a torch. They just light it at one end and just use it as a torch. നമ്മൾ ചൂട്ട് കത്തിക്കാന്നാണ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ നാട്ടിലൊക്കെ പറയുന്നത് അതിന്. So even I have used it actually when we were younger, and when we went to grandmother's house in Rani, we used to do that, you know, whenever we had to step out of the house at night. So this woman she works for, her name is Pennamma, and lovingly she's called Pennamma Chedati. And Pennamma Chedati asks, it's so late already, it's dark. Do you have to go home today? She's asking her just to stay back. And then Orodha looks outside, and it's already the moonlight is shining so bright. It's nice. And then she says that my man is afraid to sleep alone. Oh, and the kettionundu. Ottakkonnu orangathilla pediya. Like just like you.
That's right.
And then moreover, see, I've done all this hard work. ജോലി ചെയ്തതാ ഞാൻ ഫുള്ള് വിയർത്തിരിക്കുവാണ്. എനിക്ക് വീട്ടിൽ പോയി ചട്ടയും മുണ്ടും ഒക്കെ ഒന്ന് മാറ്റണം. Baby, chatta and munda is actually the garb of women in central Kerala, especially Christian women. Actually, my grandmother used to wear that. Now she doesn't. Anyway, now she has promoted to nighties. Then, you know, we get a picture about her husband. A very loving husband, but a little scared. He doesn't want to spend the night alone in a house all by himself. So then usually she thinks about her usual routine. ഈ വീട്ടിലെ ജോലിയൊക്കെ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഷീൽ ഗോ ഹോം ബിഫോർ ഡസ്ക്, സന്ധ്യാവുന്നതിന് മുമ്പ് പോകും. പക്ഷെ ഇന്ന് പോകാനിരുന്നപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ഓൾ ഓഫ് എ സഡൻ ദ ഡോട്ടർ ആൻഡ് ദ സൺ ഇൻ ലോ ഓഫ് ദ ഹൗസ് ഹോൾഡ് കെയിം ഫ്രം കൊച്ചി. So she had to stay back, catch a chicken and cut it and make a curry out of it. And as a thank you, she was given 2 pieces of chicken curry. So she's taking it back to her husband in her house, because her husband loves the meat. And then she thinks very lovingly about her husband and says that there were times when he would gobble up the meat. He'll just എല്ലാം കൂടെ അങ്ങ് വിഴുങ്ങും എടുത്ത്. ഭയങ്കര ആർത്തിയാണ് പുള്ളിക്ക് മീറ്റിനോട്. And then she says that, oh, ഇങ്ങനെ പോയാൽ എന്നെയും കൂടെ എടുത്ത് അങ്ങ് വിഴുങ്ങുമല്ലോ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക്, yes, I married you for your flesh only. Orodha is not a very skinny woman. She has got some flesh in her body, and her husband absolutely loves it, that she is a little round and plump and all, just like you, honey. And then you know, he would just look very naughty at her body, especially at her breast, and he'd comment that, look at your breast, it's not sagging even now. And then Orodha would get sad. Her breasts are not sagging because she hasn't given birth to a child yet. അപ്പോൾ അവർക്ക് കുട്ടികളില്ല, അതുകൊണ്ട് അവർക്ക് പാല് കൊടുക്കേണ്ട ആവശ്യമൊന്നും വന്നിട്ടില്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ട് ഇപ്പോഴും അവരുടെ ബോഡി വളരെ ഫേം ആയിട്ട് തന്നെയാണ് ഇരിക്കുന്നത്. And then she would become very sad because she's sad that she doesn't have children. And then her husband, a very loving and faithful husband, he says that we don't need children, why should we have children? കുട്ടികൾ വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അവരുടെ കാര്യം നോക്കി അവർക്കൊരു അടിമയായിട്ട് അങ്ങ് ജീവിക്കേണ്ടി വരും. നമുക്ക് പ്രായമാകുമ്പോൾ അവർ നമ്മളെ ഇട്ടിട്ട് പോവുകയും ചെയ്യും. അപ്പം നമുക്ക് പിള്ളേർ വേണ്ട, നമുക്ക് നമ്മളുണ്ടല്ലോ. We have each other and we are happy, and that's all that matters. And also we don't lack anything. We work, we live very happily, and when our time comes, we will even die together. And Orodha will make a pout like this. And then she says, അതൊക്കെ നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിലാണോ ഇരിക്കുന്നത്? Death is not in our hands. We don't know if we will die together. and he says that I have a way. ഞാൻ അതിനൊക്കെ ഒരു വഴി കണ്ടു വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. കാരണം എനിക്ക് ഒറ്റയ്ക്ക് ഈ മണ്ണിനടിയിൽ കിടക്കാനൊന്നും പറ്റത്തില്ല, ചത്ത് കിടക്കാൻ. എനിക്ക് എപ്പോഴും നീ വേണം. I always want you, even in life and death. So we understand that there is a loving, tender relationship between the husband and wife, right? Okay, what do you think about it?
It's an interesting story. You can see that there's kind of different layers of meaning here. He's thinking about food, but he's also thinking about at the same time things that are not quite food. He's thinking about the relation to his wife's body, and it's interesting to think about how these different kinds of desires are being mixed up.
Yeah, that's a valid point. So there is a desire for food. ഭക്ഷണത്തിനോടുള്ള ഒരു ആവേശവുമുണ്ട്. There is a desire for love and a carnal desire, right? For desire for her, for his wife's body. Okay, let's move on. So ഇതെല്ലാം ഓർത്തിട്ട് Orodha is giggling. ചിരിച്ചു പെട്ടെന്ന് she's very, she's reminded of her husband and she feels a little shy and she giggles. And then she's walking to her house. Now things start to turn around. Let's see what happens. From behind them, someone took up Orodha's giggle, flaring the torch with a no backward glance. Orodha rebuked, "Get lost, you spirit. Don't play with me. I've heard the tale of how you played pranks on my mother-in-law on a night like this long ago. Don't forget, this is Orodha." With an ear-shattering roar, the wind gushed past Orodha. Orodha's house was just across the cashew grove. Many had hanged themselves in this grove. The owners being far away, it lay open without a fence or a stick for a boundary. Anyone could come and hang himself there. Swinging the torch vigorously, Orodha entered the cashew grove. The wind that had gushed in before Orodha furiously shook the cashew tree on which the blacksmith Itaman had hanged himself. Looking at Orodha and sneered. Even before the laughter had died down, Itaman called from the tip of the cashew branches, "Hey Orodha, give Itaman too a piece of meat and then go." Okay, let me just talk to them now. Okay, so Orodha is giggling, thinking about her husband. Now what happens is someone is repeating that giggle from behind. Give sinister music. Who's that? ആരാണ് ഒറോദയുടെ പോലെ പുറകെ നിന്ന് ചിരിക്കുന്നത്? But Orodha is a very brave lady. She's not afraid of anybody. She says, "Get lost, you spirit." So she's a very brave woman. She says that, "Get lost. I've heard this story. പണ്ട് നീ എന്റെ അമ്മായിയമ്മയെ കുറെ പേടിപ്പിക്കാൻ നോക്കിയതാണ്. പക്ഷെ അമ്മായിയമ്മ അല്ല ഈ ഒറോദ. ഇത് ഒറോദയാ. ഇവിടുന്ന് അങ്ങ് പൊക്കോ, എന്നെ വിട്ടങ്ങ് ഓടിക്കോ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. And with an ear-shattering roar, പെട്ടെന്ന് ഒരു വലിയൊരു കാറ്റ് ഇവളുടെ സൈഡിൽ കൂടെ ഇങ്ങനെ മുന്നോട്ട് പോയി. Then she remembers something. This is the cashew grove that she is walking on. ഇതൊരു കശുവണ്ടി തോട്ടമാണ്, നമ്മുടെ കോളേജിന്റെ അടുത്തുള്ളത് പോലെ. അപ്പൊ ഇവിടെ ഒരുപാട് ഈ വില്ലേജിലുള്ള ആളുകളെല്ലാം ആത്മഹത്യ ചെയ്യാൻ വരുന്ന ഒരു സൂസൈഡ് പോയിന്റ് ആണ് ഇത്. So this is a particular suicide point in the village where people come to hang themselves in the cashew trees. And do you know that there is a cashew grove just next to our college?
No.
But don't get any ideas, okay? All right. And then she remembers all that, and even this grove, അതിനൊരു മതിലോ അങ്ങനെ ഒന്നുമില്ല ഈ തോട്ടത്തിന്. And then she starts to swing her torch vigorously. ചൂട്ട് നന്നായിട്ട് ആട്ടാനൊക്കെ തുടങ്ങി. She has entered the cashew grove, and there was this wind whooshing from behind her, like this. Yeah. And then Orodha furiously shook this ടോർച്ച്. ഈ ചൂട്ട് ഇങ്ങനെ ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് അനക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി. എന്നിട്ട് ഒരു കശുവണ്ടി മരത്തിന്റെ കൊമ്പില് there is a ghost hanging. This is the ghost. This is the first ghost that we see. This is the ghost of Itaman, the blacksmith. Okay, what happened to Itaman? He had hanged himself. അപ്പോൾ ഇട്ടാമൻ പക്ഷെ ഒറോദയെ നോക്കിയിട്ട് ചോദിക്കുന്നൊരു കാര്യമാണ്, ഒറോദേ, നിന്റെ കയ്യിൽ കുറച്ച് ഇറച്ചി ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, എനിക്ക് ഒരു കഷ്ണം താടി. അപ്പം even though they are ghosts, they have hunger and they have cravings, and he is a glutton. Glutton is someone who loves food. Especially even if they are not hungry, they just love eating a lot of food, just like many of us in the class, right? Anyway, അപ്പൊ ആ ഒരു ചിക്കൻ കറി വേണം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടാണ് ഈ ഗോസ്റ്റ് വന്നേക്കുന്നത്. ഈവൻ ദോ ദിസ് ഇസ് എ ഗോസ്റ്റ്, ഹി ഹാസ് ഹ്യൂമൻ ഇമോഷൻസ് ആൻഡ് ഹ്യൂമൻ ഡിസയേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് ഗ്രീഡ് ആൻഡ് ഗ്ലട്ടണി. ഓക്കെ, എനിവേ, അപ്പൊ ഓരോത പറഞ്ഞ് ഓരോത പറയുന്നത് എന്താന്ന് നോക്കാം. ഓരോത സ്പിരിറ്റ്സ് റാലി. You accursed fellow, your woman gave all that she cooked to another fellow because of your ineptness. Who else but you would have hanged himself because she ran away with that fellow? Itaman fell silent on the branches of the cashew tree. So Itamanu the response ആണ്, നിനക്ക് ഇറച്ചിയാണ് നിന്റെ പെണ്ണുമ്പിള്ളയോട് പോയി ചോദിക്കണമായിരുന്നു. നിന്റെ കഴിവുകേട്, ഇന്നപ്നെസ് കൊണ്ടാണ് she ran away with another man. And for that you hanged himself, you fool. Just go away from me. So look how she treats the ghost. She's not at all scared. What would it have been if it was you or me? Right? Anyway, let's look at the next ghost she encounters. Then, leaving Itaman's cashew tree behind, the wind galloped ahead of Orodha and awoke the fortune teller Shanta's predam. Orodha chedatiye, aren't I with child after all? Give me a piece of meat and then carry on. Orodha said with compassion, my Shanta Koche, couldn't you have lured someone else? Isn't an uncle's son your own flesh and blood, my child? The pregnant ghost swung from a low branch of the cashew tree, holding on to some memory of a forbidden taste. Okay. And then the second ghost comes. Okay. The second ghost is that of the fortune teller Shanta. Fortune teller എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താ? കൈനോട്ടക്കാരി. Okay, അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ആയിരിക്കും. But Shanta is a very young ghost. She hanged herself when she was pregnant. So there must be some reason why she hanged herself when she was pregnant. So we can suspect that the pregnancy is actually illegitimate, right? Illicit. What do you say that? How do you say that? Illegitimate or illicit? Both.
Yeah.
Both. Okay. So then, even this ghost is after the chicken curry. And she says, Orodha Chechi, Orodha Chedatiye, just give me a piece of chicken. എനിക്കൊരു ചിക്കൻ കഷ്ണം താ. എനിക്കൊരു കൊച്ചുള്ളതല്ലേ എൻ്റെ വയറ്റിൽ. I'm pregnant. I'm a child. It's not for me. It's for the child. And Orodha is saying with compassion. കുറച്ച് പാവം തോന്നി ആ ഗോസ്റ്റിനോട്. എൻ്റെ ശാന്ത കൊച്ചെ, നിനക്ക് വേറെ ആരെയും കിട്ടിയില്ലേ? Why couldn't you have lured someone else? നിന്റെ അമ്മാച്ചന്റെ മോൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അങ്കിളിന്റെ മോൻ, your cousin, you had relations with him. It's like your own brother. It's your flesh and blood. അതുകൊണ്ടല്ലേ നിനക്ക് ഈ അവസ്ഥ വന്നത്. And the pregnant ghost became silent and she ran away from there. She also whooshed along with the wind. Okay, now let's see who is next. The wind again rushed forth in an attempt to scare Orodha. Shaking, my book closed. Okay, shaking one-handed Auda, the wind whispered something. Before Auda could ask anything, Orodha said, "You are a clever fellow, Orodha. Didn't you with your one hand carry off 20 sacks of pepper stored in the Valiyaveed attic that night? But it was your utter folly on your part to have gone and hanged yourself when they found out and filed a case against you." The one-handed ghost fell silent, realizing his folly. He lay back, staring at the sky. Okay. And the third ghost now comes. Who's this ghost of? You didn't listen? Okay. Okay. So this ghost is that of Auda. Auda is a one-handed ghost. ഒരു കൈ മാത്രമുള്ളൊരു ghost ആണ്. And before the ghost can say anything, Orodha says that, don't say anything. You are a clever fellow. നിനക്ക് നല്ല ബുദ്ധി വിവരമൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. ഒറ്റക്കയ്യനൊക്കെ ആണെങ്കിൽ ആ ഒറ്റ കൈ കൊണ്ടാണ് നീ 20 ചാക്ക് കുരുമുളക് ആ വലിയ വീട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് കട്ടത്. But when they found out about you and when they filed a case with the police against you, it made you sad. So you came and hanged himself. എന്തൊരു ജീവിതമാണ്. നിനക്ക് കുറച്ചൊക്കെ ധൈര്യം വേണ്ടേ ഒരു പോലീസ് കേസൊക്കെ ഫേസ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി. ഇത് കേട്ടപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ഔദയും ഒന്നും മിണ്ടാതെ പെട്ടെന്ന് അയാളുടെ മരത്തിലേക്ക് മടങ്ങിപ്പോയി. അപ്പം it feels like she's shaming all these ghosts. ഗോസ്റ്റുകളെല്ലാം ഈ പ്രേതങ്ങളെല്ലാം പുള്ളിക്കാരി അങ്ങ് നാണം കെടുത്തുക അവരുടെ ലൈഫിന്റെ ചോയ്സസിനെ പറ്റി പറഞ്ഞ്. അതോടെ അവർക്ക് പിന്നെ ചിക്കനും വേണ്ട ഒന്നും വേണ്ട, അവരങ്ങ് ഓടിപ്പോകും. Seeing the wind attempting to climb yet another tree, Oroda said, "Don't bother to scare me again, you ghost. Here, I have reached my house. Why don't you go straight to hell?" Okay? So another ghost was coming to ask for chicken. And she says, "Don't bother. എന്നെ പേടിപ്പിക്കാനൊന്നും നോക്കണ്ട, ഇതേ ഓരോതയാ, ഇതാ കണ്ടോ, ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ വീട്ടിലെത്തി. I have already reached the front of my house now. So there is no way in heaven that, or hell, that you are going to scare me." On hearing Oroda's footsteps in the yard of the house, a question quivered at the tip of her husband's tongue. Who is it? Oroda bent down to put the torch. Wiping her face and neck with the edge of her munda, she straightened up. "Hey, it's me, my man. Open the door." And then ഒറോദയുടെ കാലച്ച കേട്ട് അകത്തുനിന്ന് ആരോ ഇങ്ങനെ വിറച്ച് ചോദിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇവരുടെ ഹസ്ബൻഡാണ്, ഇയാൾ ഒറ്റയ്ക്കാണ്. ആരാ അവിടെ, പ്രേതമെങ്ങാനും ആണോ എന്നൊരു രീതിയിലാണ്. അപ്പൊ ഒറോദയുടെ ധൈര്യം കണ്ടോ, ഹസ്ബൻഡിന്റെ പേടിയും കണ്ടോ. യൂഷ്വൽ സ്റ്റോറീസിൽ നിന്ന് ഡിഫറെന്റ് ആയിട്ട് ദ വൈഫ് ഇസ് പിക്ചർഡ് ആസ് എ ബ്രേവ് ആൻഡ് അൺഫിയറിംഗ് വുമൻ, whereas the husband is afraid of everything. He's even scared of sleeping alone in his own house, probably because they live next to a yard where there are a lot of ghosts. We can't blame the poor guy, right? Anyway, he's asking, "Who is it?" And she says, "It's me. Yana Mansha. Open the door." And then she just puts down the torch and she goes into the house. So that brings us to the end of the story. So this story was actually quite fun, right? Okay, and not like the other stories. It's quite shorter and it's a little sweet, bittersweet in a sense, because Oroda is very happy in her life. She has a perfectly good husband. He just fawns over her. He loves everything about her, her body, her mind. He doesn't even want to stay one night away from her. Maybe this feeling of fear is actually his way of saying that he don't want to be away from her, right?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then she has a perfectly good job. They work hard. They have good food. They are living together. Everything is good except for one thing: they don't have children. So that is the element of pathos in this particular story, right?
Yes.
And then a fun element is brought in when she walks across the grove, and she gives us a little history of how this grove was always the spot for suicides in the village. പണ്ട് ഒറോദ ചേട്ടത്തിയുടെ അമ്മായിയമ്മയെ ഇവിടുത്തെ പ്രേതങ്ങൾ ഇതുപോലെ പേടിപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ ഒറോദ അങ്ങനെയൊന്നുമല്ല. ഒറോദ ഇസ് വെരി ബ്രേവ്, റൈറ്റ്? Okay. And then she encounters some ghosts, 3 ghosts to be exact, right? ആദ്യത്തെ ഗോസ്റ്റ് ആണ് ഇട്ടാമൻ. Ittaman is asking for the chicken. So she says that, "I won't give you my chicken curry." So the feeling she has towards Ittaman is a disgust. She says that you couldn't even keep your own woman. That's why she went away she eloped with some other guy. നിന്റെ ഭാര്യ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ അവള് നിനക്ക് ഉണ്ടാക്കി തരുമായിരുന്നു. ഭാര്യ ഒളിച്ചോടി പോയ വിഷമത്തിലല്ലേ നീ ആത്മഹത്യ ചെയ്യുന്നത്? നീയൊക്കെ ഒരു മനുഷ്യനാണോ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞങ്ങ് നാണം കെടുത്തി. ഇട്ടാമൻ ഒന്നും മിണ്ടിയില്ല. ഇട്ടാമൻ പോയി. രണ്ടാമത്തെ പ്രേതം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ശാന്ത. ശാന്ത ഇസ് എ ഫോർച്യൂൺ ടെല്ലർ. Okay. Shanta is a pregnant ghost. She hanged herself when she was with child. And who was the father of the child? Her uncle's son, her cousin. Maybe that's why she had to commit suicide, because she couldn't marry him anyway. Okay. So she's also asking with, "I have a child in my belly. Won't you give me some chicken?" And she says that, "Where are you?" She's compassionate towards the second ghost. And then the third ghost comes. It is Auda. And before even Auda can open his mouth, Oroda says, "Don't you bother. You are a clever guy. But what happened to you? In one night, you were able to steal 20 sacks of pepper from Valiya Veedu. Attic എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മച്ച്, വീടിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ മച്ചിൻ്റെ പുറത്ത്. but then you was foolish enough to go and commit suicide.
Mm.
So that that brings us to the end of the story. It portrays a very strong female character, completely fearless, not afraid to work for the family. Her only fear, only worry is that she's childless, and we can say in a way that she is a breadwinner for the family, because when she goes back to the house, her husband is already in the house. Maybe he doesn't have a steady job and all, so we can say that she is a breadwinner. Just like Gracie's all other stories, this also has a very strong female character. Okay, do you have anything to say about this story?
It's a great story, and I appreciate your analysis, which is very interesting. And I think that what you have to say, I fully agree with. I think one thing which is interesting about this story
Mm.
is how even after death, a lot of these ghosts seem to have the same sort of preoccupations they would have during life. They're
Yeah.
still worried about things. They're still able to be afraid. That the human can still sort of overpower them by you know
Mm.
by telling them to back off, and they'll listen.
Yeah.
So it just kind of shows you that with the ghosts, even after death, in a lot of ways, they're still kind of like us, right?
Yeah. So, what Mr. Haig said is that even after death, we have the same desires and fears and feelings that we had in life. മരണം കഴിഞ്ഞാലും നമ്മളുടെ അതേ ഇമോഷൻസ് എല്ലാം നിലനിൽക്കുന്നതായിട്ടാണ് ഈ കഥയിൽ കാണിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. അപ്പം അത് വളരെ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യമാണ്. അതായത് they have hunger, everybody is craving for the meat. At the same time, Orodha is able to control them with the fears and their shortcomings in their life. And when she says about it, they back off. അവര് പെട്ടെന്ന് ഓരോതയെ വിട്ട് മാറിപ്പോകും. And also another interesting thing I have to say is about the geographical location of this story. We can assume that this happens in central Kerala, Kottayatho, maybe in Kottayam or Pathanamthitta, where our grandmother's house is. Maybe that's where this story is happening, or even Idiki, because the particular, the names, even Oroda, Pendamma, these are stories from that, names from that location. And then says that somebody came from Kochi in the evening. So that says that they live a considerable distance away, but not such a distance that it will take one day's journey, right? So we can say that this is central Kerala. And moreover, the dress, chattai mundu, that is also characteristic of central Kerala Christian women. So that brings us to the end of the lesson. I hope you enjoyed this particular experiment that we put up for you. Although I guess we tried to bring out a lot more instrument, but there was some kind of miscommunication between us. So anyway, we hope to make the next story more interesting than this, and go through the story again. And thank you for your attention. Bye.